Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With, Kurt Dog. Want to welcome everyone to the show for the Thursday night edition. And you already know who's on the show. Want to welcome all our guests on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch. Um, you can live chat with us in the chat room. And y'all know it's Thursday night, so you know she came back again to hang out with her boy, Miss Risky. Miss Risky, what's going on?
Nothing much.
How was your week?
So far, it went by pretty good.
That's
Uh,
good. That's
yeah,
good.
one more day and then I'm out.
Hey, I understand. It's been so hot. I was like,
I
man,
haven't been outside in a minute.
yeah,
So,
it been a struggle. I've been doing stuff all week, trying to uh having some work done around the house, so it's been kind of a struggle. Been going at it, I've been like, man, I don't see how y'all do it
yeah.
because
And
it's
I'm
hot.
trying not to spend money. The guy who's looking over my finances, he's like, "Stop buying stuff." I'm like, "I'm trying."
What did you tell them? Take your computer and your phone from you and
That's not
cancel
gonna
your
matter.
Amazon account.
It's
Amazon
not gonna
account.
matter because I could be on the work computer and still do it.
Yeah. It sounds like you just want to spend money.
I mean, I didn't. I've been doing pretty good. I've been doing well because all I got was this phone. It was a really good deal,
This week.
and I bought accessories for it on Amazon.
Okay. Well,
So I think that's pretty good considering I bought a whole wardrobe not too long ago.
well, you have to. You have to buy
Because
your
it's hot. I
clothes.
need all my skirts. I was like, I cannot wear pants this summer.
I feel you on that. I wish I could walk. Oh, never
Listen,
mind.
walking around naked is frowned upon apparently in the United States.
Hey, me personally, I'd be like, look, when bike riding this morning, it was so hot. I was like, I think I might have to do speedos next time because
Yeah.
this
And
ain't
I'll have
good.
to be at one of your checkpoints like, look at this fool. Wearing a Speedo.
Well, say world star.
Listen, it'll be everywhere, all on the Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like when I put my feet on there last week, and a lot of people made fun and all of that. Want to shout out uh Miss Ski Chills. When I got my feet done today, and we was getting ready to leave, I kept seeing somebody waving, and I'm like, I'm telling my wife, babe, some woman over there waving at me. She turned around and looked. She pulled the mask down. I'm like, oh, girl, you better say something. I was like, hey. So shout out to Culture Bar. The person that does my feet, she was like, hey, they looking good. They
You're not
looking good.
scarring your wife.
Not
Legs
tearing
up.
up, not tearing up no sheets right now.
Yes,
So that's a good thing.
that's good.
But this week has been really crazy with the news going on. Um, Congratulations to Senator Kamala Harris. Um, Hopefully, she will be the first black female vice president. Then we got Trump and versus the post office.
Mm.
Um, then we're gonna talk about the foolishness going on at Fort Hood soldiers. Um, them and their sexual appetite. Leave the kids alone.
Yes, please
Um,
leave the children alone.
Then we're going to talk about Roy Oliver. Um, and we also going to talk about Ronnie Long. Ronnie Long. Welcome to the show, Charles Hunt. Thank you for listening. He's a longtime listener out of California. Um, you can chat live with us in the chat room. Um, you can also I'm gonna put the number up in a little bit. I'll put it up, and you can also call in if you want to have a comment. So you could definitely do that. So, man, when Biden announced Senator Kamala Harris, I was like, man, I was I was ready to go vote then. I was like, hey,
I don't know. I was mixed. I don't know. I was mixed.
well,
Uh, I mean, but I mean, it's somebody. It's something. But I was hoping like for a Warren, Elizabeth Warren. I'm a big fan. Um, liked what she had to say. She had a plan of action. I am not familiar with what Harris's plans are.
but she's
I just
strong.
hear, yeah, like I know just about like her and and her. I guess she was in Was she California?
Yes.
And the cops and yeah. I mean, I just heard a lot of things, but it seems like they're probably mostly rumors. So I haven't heard like what she stands for and things like that.
Well, at this point, we either have to try something new or continue dealing with this mess that we're already in.
Yeah.
So at this point, hell, I would have voted for Buzz Bunny and and I would have voted for anybody besides what we dealing with now.
Right. Anything's better than what we have. So I mean, I'm all for it just so we can get them out. Um, yeah. And hopefully we don't end up splitting the vote because I know there's a libertarian candidate, or she's out there, Johansson, yeah, Johansson. I don't know how I butcher that, and she's creating waves. So hopefully we just stick to what we have.
Well, I'm like this. If any one of the candidates want to come on the show, reach
Hmm.
out to me. You can reach us on send me an email, who you with kurtdog at mail.com, who you with kurtdog at mail.com, and we can arrange it. But I would even let the clown come on too, because I would have some
Listen, that
words
would
for him.
be he wouldn't be on the show for like a minute
No,
because he would like we'd ask him one question, he'd be like, "All right, it's been a
gotta
pleasure,
go, gotta go, gotta
gotta
go.
go."
But I would be respectful, but he can't come on with that BS though.
Yeah.
That's something that won't happen. But as for uh Biden Harris ticket, I think it's the best thing going. And while we're talking about election, I know we didn't get a chance to discuss it, but that other clown that's trying to take votes from Biden Harris ticket, he could be facing charges pretty soon.
Yeesh.
Because in Chicago, his hometown, a lot of those people that signed the petition, come to find out, they wasn't
They
real.
were legit.
So, and they saying he could face up to 2 years in prison if they decide to pursue him. I hope they do. Because I'm like, hey, I'm tired of these folks doing illegal stuff and getting a
Right.
slap on the wrist and, oh, it's okay. It's just a mistake. Don't worry about it. Don't do it no more. But at the same time, when we have a fool in office
Hmm.
that is trying to steal votes by any means necessary,
Right.
even trying to defund the post office,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and
Like,
yeah, it's crazy. But I'm like, hey,
just that weird illogic that he put out there that he's trying to, I guess, keep the mail-in ballots options, you know, uh, away from the American people and that right, by doing that. But what he's doing is not only, keeping people from voting, by mail, but people get medication and their
exactly,
checks and credit cards and debit cards and things in the mailbox. Like when
exactly.
you stop one thing, you like, and just his logic, it doesn't make sense. Like it's fraudulent, and he's like, that's his excuse. It's fraudulent.
Well, my whole thing is what a lot of people don't understand. the post office have funded theirself um, for many of years. Now, if they need a bailout now, I can understand why. Because once the what he felt like was fake, the coronavirus was fake. Well, a lot of people stopped mailing, but they still have all these employees they have to pay.
Exactly.
So
And
for
then
him,
even if they have to pay with their little prepaid cards, how are they gonna get those cards? You got to mail
exactly.
them somehow.
So I truly understand why the post office may be hurting a little bit, but at the same time, as a leader, he could say he don't want to. He's trying to do this to avoid from uh, getting mail-in ballots
Regulations.
and all of that.
Yeah.
Man, go say. I wish he would contact and say you want to come on the show. Boy, that would be a good one.
Yeah, and that's another reason where, like, came out that he admits to blocking the stimulus plan because 25 billion in the funding it goes to the postal service, and that was a part of the stimulus plan.
Well, you got to look at it like this:
But
with Trump, the post office may not need his help,
hmm
but when he started complaining about Amazon packaging, uh, he cut off some of that business. That's when Amazon started to have their own delivery service.
oh yeah,
And instead of allowing them to do it, that's part of the problem. So they was making the money to sustain themselves and probably would still be doing it, but he opened his mouth soon as he got in office and and pissed Amazon off. So they took some of that business from him.
right.
So the thing is, you can't blame nobody but yourself. Welcome to the show, David Hunt. Thank you for watching. He's another one from California, long time listener. Y'all can chat with us in the chat room. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and put the phone number up, and because I know we have uh some people that may not agree with what we're saying about Trump, and you're more than welcome to call in and speak your mind. 972 591 3665. 972 591 3665. So that's what I feel about Trump. These are our own personal opinion, but he complained about Amazon, which forced Amazon to go out, start running their own trucks to deliver their package. So the financial difficulty that the post office may be having, that's your fault. And you're trying to slow it down where you can't, you don't want to fund them to get out election ballots and all of that. So by any means necessary, we definitely gonna get out and vote and get you out of office. I'm doing good. Then
hmm
it must be the
It's
heat.
early.
Yeah, it must be the heat or something. I don't know. But so definitely like and share with a friend. If you're watching, definitely share and let a friend know that hey, we're on live and you could chat live with us in the chat room. You can also call in with your opinion 972 591 3665. Um, now we're gonna go to the other foods. Um, these soldiers out of Fort Hood. Leave the kids alone. Um, I'm gonna let you tell it because I know if I said it might be some bleep 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 going
Not the
on.
bleepy bleep. Well, it looks like the Texas Department of Safety and Human Trafficking Program concluded a 2-day prostitution sting and arrested 9 suspects, 2 of whom are Fort Hood soldiers, according to Killeen PD. You can go to like I we got this information from channel ABC,
Maybe.
ABC Channel 8 News, and they have like their names. Anthony Xavier Antoine, 25 of Fort Hood, um, arrested for felony prostitution under 18. And then Brandon Anthony Lee, 25 of Killeen, felony prostitution under 18. So there were a few Fort Hood arrests and just a lot of people in that area uh, from the neighboring area who were arrested, ages ranging from 25 to 42. And so it's just like, why? Like, what is that thing that makes people want someone who's like
Underage.
underage? Like, I don't even understand how people can just look at like a child and be like, you know what? I want to get with that.
Yeah.
Like, leave these babies alone. Let them be children. Stop trying to steal their innocence. You know, it makes no sense to me. And people like that, it's like there's something wrong with them, and you can't fix it because they could do castration, do the injections, but they'll always find a way to satisfy their dark desires.
And then,
Like
then,
like you can't repair it.
then on top of that, they agreed to meet what they thought was 15 or 16-year-old girls,
Hmm.
and for the payment, it was either going to be money, drugs, or alcohol. And instead, they made contact with Killeen Police. So, shout out to Killeen Police Department. Continue to run these things. Let's get the nasty about.
And the correction of that, there's 6 Fort Hood soldiers who were
Oh
arrested.
wow,
14 total in the prostitution sting.
wow, 6 of them. Hey, I'm glad.
Like, what is going on? They got murders going on, bodies there. Now they messing with kids.
Exactly. So I'm glad the police department did run this thing. They got him off the street, and they should go to jail for a long time.
I don't even think they should waste their time. Like, take them out to a field. Like, I'm all for it. Because, again, that's something you can't, like, even with therapy, that's something that's been proven that they can't cure. It's just in them. It's a sickness. And, you know, it's like you do a rabid dog, take them out to a field. I'm
Well,
sorry. That's my, listen,
that's your opinion, but
my
I
opinion.
trust me. I feel exactly what you're saying.
It's not going to ever happen because, you know, they always feel that people can be reformed, but sometimes
Some
some
people you
things
just can't
just
help.
can't. Yeah, you just can't help at all.
Look at R. Kelly.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
just
peeing on
putting it out.
children.
Exactly. It's my.
But to be fair, like the parents let that happen. Like,
I feel like the parents should have been blamed for a lot of
yeah,
that
listen,
because you knew his background, but still you trying to get your child to be famous, and
right.
you allowed him to be alone with them.
Exactly. They were like, look, they were trying to be like Chris Kardashian, trying to get their kid in the spotlight by any means necessary. They were pretty much pimps. They pimped their children. Any parent who allows their child to be in the company of a grown person
Who have a
alone
background.
and have sleepovers, no. Listen, you need to go down with them.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of jacked up when I read the story. I'm like,
Yeah,
here it is. You serving uh, serving America,
right.
and you up here getting arrested trying to pick up young girls.
Little young tenderonis.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. They really need to bring back that show To Catch a Predator because listen, that show was amazing because they had men from all walks of life going after kids as young as 12 to 15. Like that was the age range they were looking for. Men and like these men were looking for both boys and girls, and some of them were from of the cloth. you
So,
know, all of the like all representatives. They had a rabbi, a priest, and a reverend. Oh my
exactly.
gosh, like and they had the same story. Oh, I was just, trying to be, meet a friend and this and they got caught with rope and condoms and all these things. So it's like, what really was your intent? Were you gonna kidnap these kids?
Hey,
Like, I don't know, but
it's pitiful.
people just need to stop with leaving just leave the kids alone.
Matter of fact, I think last month seemed like I read a Dallas police officer was
Oh yeah,
caught
with
with
porn or was he
child
with the child or
pornography.
it was
Yeah,
pornography? Yeah,
and so they they have to be some really sick people to watch kids, um,
and
and trying to
derive some
pick up
kind of
kids.
sexual pleasure from it. Like it just boggles my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, but hey, they deserve whatever they get,
Yeah,
but they
and
don't
we just have to
deserve to
keep
be
fighting
free.
the fight, and hopefully, more and more just get shut down and taken.
But I think I did a story came out of South Dakota or something last month where this guy actually he got probation, I think. He married this one girl that was underage. He was accused of molesting this other girl, and they gave him probation. And I think he was already on probation for assaulting another child. Gave him probation, and if he complete that probation, I think it was like a year. If he completed, his record would be clean. And I'm like, what in the hell are y'all doing?
Like, no, once you cross that line, you need to be on a registry. You need to walk around with
A
a P on your
monitor?
shirt for being a pedophile, like like a tattoo or something on your head. Like, no, we need to identify you and keep you somewhere. Like, because they will almost always do it again.
Exactly. And he did it, and he actually married a young lady. I don't know if I sent the story to you, but
Yeah, I don't like. Let me do a quick search.
I'm
But
trying to pull it up. Like we say all the time on the show, sometimes we may have a stories we're going to talk about, but sometimes other stories may come up. When they come up, it is live, so we
mhm,
may have to search and look for something. So don't be surprised. Uh, Let me see. Uh, I'm looking back over. There's so much stuff. We send each other so many different stories.
yeah, but I don't remember that one. That would have stuck out.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I believe
well, it's crazy because a lot of stories come up because there's still some states that allow people to marry young girls as young as 12 in the United States.
Oh wow,
uh,
all of them need their ass whooped.
it's like there's like I don't care how much parent consent, all y'all need to be in jail. That's no.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
some foolishness. Um, that's kind of like Misky Chill um had asked me if I seen that Epstein movie,
uh-huh.
and I started to watch it, and I got pissed off all over. I was like, he had young girls pimping for him,
Oh yeah, that's what they
and
all
I'm
do.
like, I'm like, this is some foolishness.
Yeah, they groom them to carry on, and because I mean, what's easier to get your bait than
And
another
that
young girl their age?
I was like,
Hey, we got this house, we got alcohol, we got this. Come hang out, watch cable, or whatever the kids be doing.
yeah, I kept talking about you can uh make some fast money and all of this.
Right?
Put it like this: any money that is made fast is not legit.
Yeah, it's not good.
So don't believe the hype. Any kids watching tonight, don't fall for that because it's not gonna be good. It's not legit.
And the fact that if you think that, oh, it won't happen to you, yeah, and you're the person that it probably happened to. So just be smart and try to keep out of those situations, or make sure you tell someone if you're unsure of these situations, because it
Exactly.
happens all the time. Hey, you're pretty. How about be a model? And then now everything's like, hey, you want to be an influencer?
Well, they said what happened was in Florida they was going over to the poorest part of I think it was West Palm Beach or something, going over there and find young ladies over there that was didn't have didn't have anything.
Right.
So they went over there and they basically um flashed them money and they like, okay. I think this one young lady said she was with them for like 5 or 6 years. Another young lady said she refused to do it. And he said, well, if you bring other young ladies in, I'll give you $200 per each one.
Right.
And I believe the episode I seen, I believe the cops told her that she could be charged for pimping. So I don't know. I haven't found the desire to go back to look at any more episodes. I was like, okay, um, leave the
Yeah, because I
kids
mean,
alone.
yeah, but it's like, especially now with the jobs being just kind of dismantled, and trying to keep up with the bills and not having like the income coming into the household. I mean, people are getting desperate,
Yeah.
and I mean, they're almost out of their homes and living in their cars. And that's if they have a car. And where does that leave the kids?
Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Especially with they're saying that some places, some people have actually gotten evicted
Mhm.
before Trump signed that executive order last week.
Mhm.
So some people have been evicted. Did you send me a story about a lady living with two twins?
Yes. I was like, I think I put it on my page because I was like, that's crazy. Like, this is the world we're living in. It's not so great. Like, I am still waiting on the greatness because America isn't great.
And
It's turned into a third world country, and
exactly.
people are, doing the best they can, and then you see people posting, well, why don't they just get a job? Any job is better than not having one. Well, I mean, they're acting like people are just like, you apply and you get these jobs, but when it's saturated with all these other people, like, you're just one of thousands.
Or you may hear you overqualified,
Yeah,
or you may hear
and I've heard that.
you don't have enough experience.
Hmm. For
So
customer service, it's like my whole life is customer service. It's like, yeah, California mother with 6-month-old babies. Let's see. She was evicted mid-pandemic, just 6 months after giving birth to twins.
mm,
And this was Vallejo, California. She's a single mother. She was living out in her car until somebody reached out to her to offer her temporary help.
mm,
Um, so
yeah,
I'm
that's
just like, it's just crazy that, like, and then in her situation, like, no money's coming in. She's living in her car. Even if she's got a job, where's she gonna put those kids?
Exactly. Have to pay for
Like now, she
daycare.
can't afford daycare because daycare is rent, and California is expensive, and I don't know what daycare is like, but here it's like what 800 a month, if or more, like for just childcare. It's like you
I,
can't afford to have kids, you can't afford to keep them somewhere. Like, what do you do?
and I
Like,
could just
yeah,
imagine what it costs in California because
right,
um, California is rich. You paying for the nice weather at night in
yeah,
California because
yeah. You're paying for the ambiance, and the depending on where you are, the beaches,
exactly because I've
and
been
your
there.
apartment's 400 square feet.
We w- we was looking and it was like some small houses like 1.1 million or something. I'm like, what
Oh
the?
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no,
They're
I
paying for
can't
the
afford.
zip code and their the surroundings to
Now
be efficient.
they do have some nice weather at night. I was
Yeah,
like, man, I needed a jacket. And if you know me, I don't really wear jackets that much, but I'm like, all right, California. I'm like, man, it get cool at night, but I don't know. That's hard,
yeah,
and
and and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Like even after this, like if they eventually pass a stimulus package for in September, like people are already months behind, and that
exactly
one $1,200 check
won't be
it's not
enough.
going to cut it. It didn't cut. It paid for what they were already late on. And if you're like me, live in my area, like rent is $1,000. So you have no food, no nothing, no benefits. You're just going to be stuck, you
Exactly.
know?
And you know what the crazy thing about all of this?
Besides turning into a third world country.
It been over 150 days since
Oh, yeah.
Breonna Taylor was murdered, and the cop that killed her, is still free. Welcome, Charles Hunt, to the show. He said, "Great show." Um, thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. You can chat live with us in the chat, but this cop need to go to jail.
Yeah, like I don't ever understand what the wait is. Like, are they even working on trying to arrest him, or do they just hope that we'll just fizzle out and forget?
I, I have no idea,
Like, it makes no sense to me.
but he need to go to jail. He should have been in jail. He lied. He lied on government documents to get a bogus warrant to, and the only thing he had to do was search. If he would
Right.
have did a search, he would have realized that the person that he was looking for was already in jail, and
Exactly.
Breonna Taylor would still be alive today,
Right.
still help him save lives because she was EMT. So he need to be in jail.
Yeah.
He lied. He should be in jail.
Yeah. Like a whole bunch of things need to happen in this situation. Like,
Exactly.
like we don't even have like there are no charges at all. Like nothing.
Exactly. I, I got you, no problem. But also since we talking about cops in jail, we might well go on and talk about Roy Oliver. Some in Texas, you may remember that name. He's the cop that actually killed Jordan Edwards. He was about spring cops. Um, Supposedly trying to break up a party.
Well, it came in as a noise complaint
Yes,
at a house party, and these teenagers were leaving the party, and officer was Roy Oliver had actually spoken to the people in the house about the noise complaint when the kids were leaving. And at some point, he ended up pointing a rifle in the car and shooting them.
And not only
And
that, he lied about it.
hmm
Said they tried to run him over.
right, and and it's like, well, the car was going the opposite direction, so like, what are you talking about?
He
Like,
lied about it.
there's a whole bunch of things that contradicted what he wrote on the report and what he reported.
I don't. I really don't understand these cops. Um, Now that you're in jail, now you're trying to find a way to get out.
Right.
Last week I mentioned about Amber Geiger. Now this week is Rod Oliver,
Yeah.
and
But
and
they upheld his because they're like, listen, no.
it was rejected.
Yeah, it was
So
rejected. So, and he's got to do at least half of his sentence. So 7.5 years before he's eligible for parole. And then he was also fined $10,000. So
so
at
that
least there's that. They upheld his sentence.
matter of fact, we'll send one of those soldiers in there for you in case you're tired of Big Bubba. Send one of those soldiers in there that got caught up in that sting down in Killeen. So um
Oh, and then also with the officer Oliver, he had another situation, complaint where he pointed a gun at a woman for a minor traffic accident.
that
So he
did
was
come
just
out,
trouble. Yeah.
and
And
he
so
was
it's
off
like,
duty when he did that.
yeah, I'm like, he was just not, he was just trigger happy. He was just like, any chance I get, I'm just gonna pull my gun out. Like, you can't like be pulling out your gun for random situations. Like, no guacamole at Chipotle. Like, dude, that's what he's doing. Like, dude, sit down, have several seats, and now he can have them in jail.
And people wonder why we say Black Lives Matter.
Like, you just can't run up on people. Like, no. Like,
Just because you have a badge does not mean that you can
you're
be
above the
ahead
law.
in the jury.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're not above of it. But he need to go on in there and tell Big Bubba I'm back.
right. Little Bubba Ray.
Go on in there, Big Bubba, and he'll take care of you. Uh,
hmm
that might have been the reason why he's trying to get out.
Probably. Like,
Trying to get away from Big Bubba. Talking about,
they
I
passed
don't
me around again.
I don't know. Big Bubba might
Never.
be in there talking about, you come on back over here, Roy.
Clean
Come
my
on.
underwear, Roy. His name is Raylene. Raylene.
Roy,
But
come
yeah,
on.
Amber Geiger. Just she's a. Well, I mean, she may actually win this one though. Because so Amber Geiger, she was sentenced to 10 years for shooting Botham
Which this
John.
should have been life.
She walked into his apartment thinking it was hers, and thought there was an intruder and ended up shooting and killing him. So there's a lawyer. Her lawyer is now saying um, that they need to void that because it was legally insufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she murdered him,
Hell, they
and
never.
that uh, yeah, yeah, and so she believes she was in her own apartment and there was an intruder. So that's their loophole. That, well, I mean, technically, that would cause a burden of proof. Like, is she, so they're shooting for 2 years in jail as opposed to 10 years.
Woman, do your 10 years. You lucky you got 10 years.
Yeah,
You lucky you got 10.
because that was light.
Cause
Like,
if it was up to me, I would have been like they did um life in life.
oh yeah,
Life.
yeah.
Yeah, you getting life because the thing is, you've already first of all you lied and said you had no contact with him.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
but then when they recover your text messages, you talked about him smoking weed and all of this, and you act like you didn't know. Now the outside of the door, you seen it was different from your own. Were you smoking weed that night? Because apparently you was either high or drunk or whatever, because you didn't know your door from the outside.
And
And
I'll give her this, like, because I've actually walked up to the wrong apartment, but then there are landmarkers. Like, like at a certain point, your mind clicks on, like, no matter how tired you are, you're like, oh wait, where am I? Like a doormat. She actually went into this apartment, and I'm like, you didn't notice anything different?
different.
Like his television was there. He had Chinese. I mean,
No,
first
ice
off,
cream. Ice
well,
cream.
no, he had. Think he had ice cream and he had Chinese because they
Okay.
had like the little things on the table, and I was like, so he had the munchies to the nth degree, and so I was like, yeah. And you don't smell any of that, or I know your apartment's sense, and you didn't leave your television on. Like certain things trigger, like, wait, this isn't my apartment. Or wait, this is not where I parked. Like you think you parked here because you're used to going here, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, I done walked up to the wrong person's car, trying to figure out why I
Exactly.
can't get in. You
And
know,
then
things
on
happen, but the fact that none of those things, like especially being a police officer, your situational awareness should be like keen. And at some point, something should have clicked. It's like, wait a minute, this man's just chilling. He's like in his shorts and like just chilling.
on top of that, you come in, you shoot first,
Right.
and don't
Like,
ask no question.
right. Like tase him or something. I mean, he was no threat. But I mean, they see this and it's a threat level.
It's a threat. And
It's a
then
threat.
on top of that, uh, moments before you was texting your married boyfriend.
Right. So she had the presence of mind to be texting and walking, and she was probably texting and driving. So she got
Exactly.
home and she got to where she needed to be. She was just one floor off,
Sound like to
and
sound
it
like
made
to
it
me
happen.
she was trying to get that BC going on that night.
She was trying to
Something.
do something.
And so, but for it
It was,
don't add up either way it go.
yeah.
It don't add up. And she lucky she got 10, which I felt like she should have got
I was shocked
25
that
to
they
life.
even gave her that. I was shocked. I just knew they were going to come out with something like what they're trying to do now. You know, like they're trying to downplay it now. Now, whether the courts, you know, listen to it or throw it out or approve the new trial, we have to wait and see. 'Cause
I hope not. And actually before her trial started, I had to go to jury duty. And I'm like, I know I'm not that lucky. But no, they gave me something else. I said, okay. That's why it's important to vote. You can sit on these jury duties.
I
Yeah.
have not been asked to do a jury duty in Louisville. I don't think they like me. Now,
Well,
Dallas, even when I was living in Louisville, I got all the notifications,
well,
but never did it.
for me, I've been there, spent the day there. Then they'll tell me, "Oh, your service not needed." So I
Yeah,
just
I had
had
one. I was on call once, and then I called the number late, and they're like, "No, you're not needed." It's like, good.
you probably called it late on purpose.
I did. I did.
um, I supposed to been going about 3 or 4 months ago, right after COVID started, and um, so right after COVID started, they had me call in, and they was like, "Oh, everything gets canceled." So we had a questioner come in.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new vice president that he elected? I think it's a good ticket. I really feel like it is. Um, I feel like Biden Harris combo is great, but we as the people need to get out and vote because we can see this clown in office is trying to do everything he can to win this election.
Right. Throwing all
And
them low lows, like
exactly. So,
everything.
but what we need to do November the 3rd, we need to go to the polls. We need to vote. Don't worry about the lines. I say it all the time. Once you vote, carry you a cooler bottle of water. Give it to people. Encourage them to stay in line. Take snacks out there, and be able to help other people. Make it comfortable for them, because this our life really depend on this election. Um, we heard people say your life depend on it. It do this time. Hell, look at the position we in now, in the middle of a pandemic, because this fool, soon as he get in office, he had such a hard on for President Obama and wanted to change everything he done. So the first thing he did, the team that was in place to prevent us from having a pandemic, he turned around and fired the team. And still today, he haven't said not one damn thing about putting somebody else in place to do it. He won't even let the medical doctors give updates on the coronavirus. He want to do it. Why in the hell are you doing it and you're not a medical professional? You're
And
not
then
even
he have these
qualified.
quacks surrounding him, giving
Exactly.
him this information. I'm just like, where did you find these people?
You want to you have all these yes people, everybody who agree with everything that you do and say, they agree with you. Well, I don't have those type of people around me, because my true friends, they correct me when I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. I say all the time, Reverend Jerry Smith, years ago when we first got married, I call him, be like, man, she did this, she did that. He would upset me. He would be like, what did you do? I'm like, look,
Exactly.
you my friend. He like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like, but I know you, so what you
What
do?
did you do?
What led up to this?
And those are the type of people that you need in your life. And if people really care about Trump, Kanye, they will be honest with him. They will be honest with him.
People
I
are
don't
too
want
afraid.
I don't want nobody around me that agree with everything I say and do.
And blow
Because
smoke up your butt.
exactly, because if you don't correct me, how in the hell I know I'm doing something wrong?
Right,
So I want you to be honest with me. But I think it's a good ticket. That's the best thing we got going right now.
right.
Now, I would say this also, because I've heard Pence may not be running with him next for the second term. And
Really?
I heard that today on Sirius XM. He may be choosing someone else. And if that's the case,
I can
he
just
pro-
imagine. Oh gosh.
he probably gonna go try to get a female to run with him. So just to be
Melania.
shit.
I mean,
I mean,
legally she can't, but because she's not, a natural. She's not a citizen. Well, she is, but she's not a
she
born.
she came over on a what type of visa was that?
But
God, it was
it was something stupid like that genius
yeah, the genius
something.
visas
Yeah, and
visa.
then got her. Yeah, and then she got her family, and we're like, what did she? What? No.
Because she was on Sports Illustrated. That's
Okay. No,
but
it
they
wasn't for
also
those art films she did.
that's what I asked, because uh, they was talking about it on the radio today, and my wife and I, she was like, "How the hell she get the genius visa?" I said, "I don't know." So she
Same
Googled
way
it.
she got over here.
I first thing I said, maybe it's the videotape she done.
Yeah,
um,
that's how they get all their wives. They leave those Eastern European women alone.
hold on, you see that question? See, if that happened,
I mean, is
woo,
that even possible?
I don't, I don't know. I think I've heard about it years ago that he should come back and run as vice president.
Yeah, like I heard that, but I was like, is that even like? I'm not I'm
I'm
not that good in
I know he
government
cannot.
affairs, but I don't remember.
I know he cannot run for president again,
Right.
but I think,
Be, be a VP.
but for VP, I'll take Michelle. Welcome to the show,
I don't know. Listen, like her after
SAL.
her food program, I was like, listen, how you gonna try to get people to eat fruits and
Welcome to the
vegetables
show.
when people can't afford fruits and vegetables? Like
Exactly.
I can
And,
get a bag of burgers for $5, and then I get 3 apples. That's 10.
and then on top of that, it's a lot more things Trump should be concerned about.
Oh yes.
But why in the hell are you trying to regulate how much water come out of a shower head? We have more
Oh, I thought it
important
was
things
was it
to
a
be
shower
concerned
head?
about. Yes, talking about because
It's too much water.
I guess when president no, he want to get more water because I
I
think when
thought it was like
president
the toilet because
well
I thought it was something to do with the flushing of the toilets or something.
no
Like it was.
when President Obama was in office, I guess
Mhm.
he had them to regulate where less water would be used for the shower.
Right,
But
because
Trump saying it's not enough
economical.
water coming out of the shower. To be honest with you, sometime when I look at him, I don't even know if he take a shower.
Listen, he just slathered. I think he considers the tanning, like the spray
The
tan, a
spray tan
shower. I think that's where he's getting mixed up because it's just a light little mist, and I think he's getting that confused with actual water.
in that hairpiece.
Yes,
In that hairpiece.
that cotton candy hair.
Because some days it look thick, some days it look thin.
Not so much. He
So
didn't. He didn't pay his weavist that day. His weavologist. I'm gonna
I'm
get that weave right.
it may be a spray on. He
Yeah,
probably ran out in the middle of it.
yeah. I remember that video. He better. That's why he don't like rain because it'll melt his.
He'll really look like a really look like a Cheeto then. But hey, I think it's a lot more going on right now where worrying about how much water not coming out of a shower head, that should be the least of your worries right now.
Right. And then he focused on Obama. I was like, why are we still talking about Obama? He's been gone.
Exactly.
Like, he's
Like I said,
chilling. He's in Hawaii living his best life. You know,
he
kids
doing
thriving. He's, they're empty nesters now, right? Because the youngest one is in college, right? Or is she going?
uh I
I don't
want
remember if they still had that one in
I
the
want
house.
to say
But
she's going. I can't
I
remember.
think she's free. Like, they're just chilling. They're just traveling, living their best life.
Put like this: if y'all see a sign in the front yard that say, "If you hear some knocking,"
Exactly.
if you hear some noise, don't come knocking. I'm just saying because they free now.
Yeah, they're
But
free.
hey, all reality, Trump is a lot more to be concerned about than some damn shower heads. That's all I'm saying. Hell, let's try to get this pandemic that you thought was fake under control first. Then we can worry about other stuff. But unfortunately, you won't be around to deal with it because you'll be out of office. So you can
Hopefully.
start packing your bags now. I'm
Yeah, they
claiming
were
that.
saying he's not going to leave quietly.
I heard that too.
I
But
could just see him now, leaving his little orange
no,
fingerprints
no,
everywhere
no,
on the walls as they're dragging him out.
no, I don't
Smears
want to
everywhere.
go. I need a recount. No,
No,
that's
he'll,
why it's important that we show up at the polls in mass
yes,
and make
and not
sure it's
split.
not a question about if Biden and Harris won. It's not a question. We need
Just,
a landslide to get his ass out.
yeah,
So, but
because that's how
woo,
he got in there before. The people who didn't vote and then others going for other candidates. It's like, let's just stick together, you
Trump,
know?
Trump,
Like,
if you really want to do something, why don't you encourage Louisville prosecutor to arrest the cop that killed Breonna. Yeah, let's do that. It- you got the power. Go on and call them. You called them about the two lawyers up in Missouri that pointed guns at the peaceful protesters. You intervene between them. So why don't you call the governor of Kentucky and tell him, hey, arrest that damn cop, get him off the street. So, and speaking of that, we didn't talk about this either, but I'm gonna bring it up. I don't know if y'all heard this sorry ass speech that Jerry Jones gave yesterday, but he still uh, tiptoed around the question. Then for him to say he's talking to past presidents and current president. First of all, you lost me when you said that. Instead of coming out, and I, I could have swore he was about to say these players for the Cowboys are my slaves. They but not protest. Uh, He was close to saying it. He was close to saying it. That's why I don't support the Cowboys. Talking about he want the stands full. Why don't you come down there and be in the stand with him? You your head so far up Trump ass. Why don't you come out like Trump? Don't wear a mask. Go down there. And then you're talking about you want the stands full. But Jerry, I'm like this. It's time for you to retire. It's time. It been time. When you made the comment 2 years ago, it was time for you to retire then, because those the horns from Arkansas was coming out. It's time for you to go. I've always been a Cowboy fan, but as long as you in charge, as long as you have that mindset, I would never support y'all. And then, like I said about Dak, when he gave the $1 million to the police training, why are you giving? You can do whatever you want to with the money, first of all, but you giving $1 million to police training that they already getting the training anyway. And then yesterday, when he gave an interview, he went back to his old ways when they asked him about the kneeling and stuff, and it's a time for everything. So, way I see it, like I said, you don't get a pass either. I said that when you gave that $1 million to the police force. I'm like, no, you won't get a pass. I don't care. Just like anybody else to come back and try to say, oh, um, um, I just seen what you sent me. Uh, I'm gonna let you touch. But anyone else that made comments about kneeling is wrong, well, I kneel for justice and I kneel for Jesus. So you, I'm gonna get off of them because I'm like, nah, I don't support the Cowboys. I won't support them because of Jerry Jones' mindset and also the way that he's doing it. You have a right to run your business any way you want to. That's your business. You're a genius on how you run your business because the Cowboys is a $1 billion team. But as for me, I won't spend another quarter on you. So, but like I said earlier, when are we gonna arrest the cop for Breonna Taylor? It's way overdue. It's well overdue.
I mean, we haven't
Let's
even heard that they even thinking about putting something together to arrest him with. No warrants, no nothing. Like,
exactly. Matter of
what
fact,
are they working on?
Dak, in your next interview, why don't you say, "Hey, let's arrest the cop that killed Breonna, that broke in her home, Let's arrest that cop that lied about the warrant. Let's do that. That would be great. So he should have been arrested back in March 13th. He should have been arrested, but instead they arrested her boyfriend for attempted murder. Somebody run up in your house in the middle of the night. You're not finna be like, "Hey, how you
Exactly.
doing? You need something to drink? Need snacks?"
No, you busted my dough. Guess what?
Rock. How they said in New Jack City, rock a bye, baby. But hey, now we getting to the end of the night. Let's talk about Ronnie Long. If you follow me on Facebook, I put a story on Facebook. Um, Actually, I'm gonna let you. Did you want to talk about the story you just sent me?
No.
Okay, cool. Um, so Ronnie Long was accused of rape in 1976. 1976. He was sentenced to 80 years by a all-white jury in Concord, North Carolina. Now, it's a lot of holes in the story because at the time of the rape, Ronnie Long was at home with his mother. Not only at home, he was on the phone at the time. But of course, back in 76, they don't have a way of tracking the phone system back then. Then on top of that, no evidence. No evidence at
And
all.
they said the evidence that they did have pointed towards a different suspect.
This man been in jail for 44 years. 44 years. And they won't let him out. So there's a petition going around trying to get him out. The governor need to step up and do what's right and free this innocent man. And you want to know why we say Black Lives Matter? Look at the injustice in this case. This man was 20 years old when he went to jail. He's 64 now
Whole life gone.
and have said he was innocent the whole time. And the evidence proved that he was innocent. But at the same time, kind of like the movie Hurricane, when they said, I think he asked the cops, would any black man work? That's basically what they did with Ronnie Long. They just pick any black man they wanted to instead of looking at the evidence. And because of that, I will continue to say Black Lives Matter.
And they also have a history in that area, and from even 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yes.
They had a thriving black population with elected black officials, and I guess they were getting too, highbrow over their white counterparts. And a Wilmington newspaper, it was a white Wilmington newspaper, printed a speech about um, from a Georgia feminist, after the media kept repeating and reporting that white women were being like their womanhood was being threatened, and so this feminist um, wrote, "If it requires lynching to protect women's dearest possessions from ravening, drunken human beasts, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if necessary." And this was around the time of their election, and so there was a white declaration announced, and they ended up killing 60 to 300 black people um, in an act of domestic terrorism. all because of media propaganda stating that black men were out to get these white women, and it wasn't even substantiated. And so, like, even through history, the same recurrent theme is that people keep saying, oh, well, the black man did it, and with little to no evidence, we're just going to lock you up by any means necessary and keep you there, whether you did it or not.
Exactly. And not only that, I believe in Wilmington, they also made it a law where black men cannot vote during that election
Mhm.
because the black in that community were thriving so good. They owned business, they was wealthy, but they had and they was elected officials. So they made it a law where the black
I think they
man.
just made it hard for them to vote. I think they had like I don't think it was the KKK, but they had things in place to make it difficult for people to vote. I don't think there was necessarily a law, but I could be wrong about that because I thought it was just that they kind of um, did things to combat the voting in that
Okay.
area.
Yeah, because I thought it could have been somebody else that we talked about last week, but I
Hmm.
thought it was them that said da, 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 da.
Let me look at something because I do remember. Uh, there's so many massacres. There's so many things with voting. Um, I wasn't that one.
But it's so many different wars that have taken place. Last week we hit on several of them. Um, I know we hear about the bombing of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street, but there was many cities where black was thriving at. And in order to keep us down, they came in with mobs of white folks and bombed our cities, bombed the area
Shoot,
because
women and children, they just didn't care.
they
They
didn't
just
care.
eradicated anyone with dark skin.
So we definitely have to get back to that same mind frame to start back owning our own banks, our own business, and make it where we could thrive again. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are doing good things, thriving, but we as a community should be thriving. And also, some of these low convenience stores that is owned by people not even from our community, we need to be able to have those for ourselves. Whatever we need to do to get back to that point, that's what we need to do. And that's how they tried to control, that's how they did control back then, was by bombing the areas.
And
Um,
also, media played a big part in it as well, because we got too big in our britches. We were thriving and doing things for ourselves, and that was one way they can get pretty much the masses to go against us and say all these, spout all these lies. Um, and the government wasn't really there to protect us. Like, there are no consequences for their actions. Like, not one person was arrested in this massacre. Like,
okay.
they were like, well, they were doing a public service.
Okay, it was Wilmington. It said by the election of 1898, black men were prevented from voting to push out the black elected officials.
Right.
Um,
But I don't think it was like a law. I think it was
yeah, it
just
wasn't a law, but they made it to the point where they couldn't vote,
right.
where they threatened them by any means necessary. Basically, we heard the history where uh, our ancestors trying to go out and vote, some of them was being killed. Um,
They were hunting down
eh,
family members.
exactly, making threats, burning their house down, whatever they was doing.
And
This,
this is like something that echo like how people were talking about. peaceful protests. There have never been like peaceful riots and protests. Like it's since the dawn of like the civilization. Like people have their ways of protesting and rioting to prove a point, whether it's good or bad. And there's no real right way to do it, but just don't take any lives. As long as no lives are taken, you can protest however you want because that's our right.
Well,
But you can see in history, we are the targets of most of these early on, and we still have a long way to go. Because when, I could walk down the street, and if somebody doesn't like me or thinks I'm a threat, you know, what can I do? I mean, I'll be in the cop car, and they could probably put me in jail until something happens, until I prove that I didn't do anything.
you have a dog?
No, it's outside. I was
I'm
wondering if
like,
you could hear it.
wait a minute, what's going on?
I've never heard
No,
that dog since I've been in this apartment in my
they
life.
trying to be the dog trying to be on the show.
Probably, but I have new neighbors, so
All right, thank you for listening, Charles Hunt. He said he about to go to Bible study. Hey, I feel you on that. Um, Pray for us because we definitely need it. But we're gonna keep bringing great shows coming up in the future. Um, we're gonna. I know this week I've been MIA, been tied up, but I'm back. I'm back, trying to get back into the swing of things. So everything is going good now. Miss Risky, tell the people where they can find you at.
I can be found on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at RSKEE. I have a website where I have my books at rskeebooks.com. So check them out.
Okay. And how's the writing coming along?
I've actually been writing. You'd be
That's a
proud
good
of me.
thing. That's a good thing.
Not nearly enough, but I'm getting there. I've figured out some things.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Baby steps. That's a good
I'm gonna
thing.
seclude myself on my next off day and just knock it
Yeah.
out.
But
See what I can do.
you went and bought that new phone. You know how it is when you get a new phone, you play with it for a while just trying
Well,
to
I'm
get
already
the
playing
money.
with it, but like no, I need to focus and get some stuff down.
Well,
And
that's
then I have my potential game idea. I need to get that knocked out and figure out how I can market it and get that going.
yeah, you know how to market it. But
Mm.
also, um, oh well, mine went blank. You can always follow the show: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. Um, it seemed like I forgot one. Twitter. Oh yeah, Twitter. You can follow us on the show if you have a show idea. Don't be afraid. Hit us up in the DM. Either one of us, let us know. We'll come up with it. Also, you can email us at who you with Kurt Dog at mail.com. Who you with Kurt Dog at mail.com. That's WHO, the letter U, WITHCURTDOG at mail.com. You can always shoot an email if you have a topic you want us to speak on, or if you want to be on the show, sit in one night, hit me up in the email. We can make arrangement, and you could definitely be a guest on the show. Other than that, we appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight, and until next time, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, we I will talk to you then. Miss Risky is on Thursday, but I normally do shows Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. So if you want to be on the show, hit me up. Let me know. We'll make arrangement for it and go from there. So until Sunday night, we love each and every one of you. Until next time, peace.